Vashon Holdings proudly presents Warweek Radio Chats with ring announcer Joseph Herring.
Hey guys, it is a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and I tell you what, we've got a lot to talk about, and we're going to catch up with one of our dear friends, the incomparable Big Rick Glazer. Woo!
Yeah. Let's give him a hand. There we go.
And guys, to help me conduct this, well, hopefully lengthy interview, our dear friend, G Funky Boxing.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me.
Give the man a hand. Woo!
There we go.
Well, state of the art, bang, bang. Rick, what have you been up to, sir? It's been a while, and I tell you what, we really missed you, my friend.
Well, I missed being on the show in certain regards. I didn't have anything to do on a Monday night, and I look forward to being on the show on a Monday night. So there you go.
Well, thank you for making me feel special. Xingao.
Don't get too carried away, Joe.
Woo! I tell you what, Rick, it's boy, where do we even begin? Let me pull out the laundry list before we go to the Rick Glazer Twitter watch. And we do have to ask you, sir. We have a laundry list, and I'm not going to even do fact or fiction right now. We've got a lot of catching up to do. So please, before we fire off rapid fire Q&A with Rick Glazer, what have you been up to, sir? And how has the new year been treating you? How's your health? How's your wife? How's everything?
There's nothing negative. Business is good. Wife's wonderful. Marriage is wonderful. Everything is good. Just couldn't be any better.
That is wonderful, brother. And you deserve it. You deserve to the victor go the spoils. Yep. And so I will say, how are you feeling about William Zepeda back in the ring? And is this a big problem that people don't want to jump into the lion's den, seemingly?
Well, this is a WBA and IBF eliminator. William Zepeda is highly ranked by all the organizations, but this is an official eliminator. And he's going to be in line for his title shot, whether Shakur is at 135 when he gets the shot or he's 140. I don't know. But, he's in line for a title shot. He's a hard-punching left-hander, and most left-handers aren't great punchers. He's a great puncher, as is Bam Rodriguez, left-handed and a great puncher.
Indeed.
I expect big things out of William Zepeda Saturday night. Maxie Hughes comes to fight. He's no joke. He lost a really highly controversial decision to Teofimo Lopez, last year, I believe, or maybe late in 2022. I don't remember exactly when.
And George Kambosos, too.
Yes.
Yes.
Kambosos,
George Kambosos. And he's a hell of a fighter. So it'll be an excellent fight, and I think Zepeda will come out on top too, because I have a lot of confidence in Zepeda, not because I think highly of Maxie Hughes.
Yes, indeed. Very good point. And it's amazing. You bring up Shakur Stevenson. I think that's by design, because Shakur Stevenson has been doing a lot of talking on Twitter after announcing his retirement. But he comes back calling everyone out except, the gentleman who's going to be headlining for Golden Boy on DAZN this weekend.
Yeah,
is that by design, sir?
Yep. And I also had a nice shout out from I told Eric Gomez, the president of Golden Boy, I was coming on the show, and he said to say hello to you fine gentlemen, and say hello to all the boxing enthusiasts out there. And he told me that he hopes everybody tunes in and on DAZN Saturday night watches William Zepeda take the next step in his career. And we're looking for an exciting stacked card Saturday night.
Absolutely, man. And Rick, I'll say this: when we were down there in L.A. and I met Eric. He's one of the nice guys in boxing, man.
Indeed.
Really nice guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
very humble.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. And I'll be watching Saturday night poolside from my backyard because it'll be my daughter's birthday as well. So definitely tuning in.
That's good.
It's amazing. The Don of boxing used to tell me that, he thought of Eric like
like a son,
like a son.
Yeah.
Yes, they were
Yeah, I
very
know.
close. And Eric, being the consummate professional, well, he soaked everything up like a sponge. And yeah, he's he's as smart as a whip, and and he's a very humble guy. That's very odd combination in boxing, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Eric and Oscar, I think they're doing a fantastic job. And boy, the boxing world is seemingly their oyster. Do you expect big things from Golden Boy in 2024?
Oh yeah, they've already done, as of the end of April. They'll have done 8 shows in the first 4 months of the year, and that's all high level shows except they had one show. I think one show was a smaller show on a Thursday night. Other than that, all big shows. They got the pay-per-view with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney on April 20th, and I'm not even counting May 4th when they have Jaime Munguia fighting Canelo. That's in May. I'm not even counting that.
Wow.
This is just the first 4 months of the year. So they got their own big pay-per-view. They're involved with the one in a co-venture with Canelo Promotions and PBC, and they're doing a hell of a job. Let's face it, they're doing a great job. Eric does a great job, and Oscar's come into his own as a promoter now. He can do a lot of things himself. He's very confident, and it's a great combination. And they've got a great network behind him and streaming service, DAZN, and which fully supports what they're doing. And they're coming up with some really good fights and
Absolutely.
Yeah, just everything's the cream is rising to the top.
And there it is. What's amazing? I'm sorry, G Funky, go ahead, sir.
Golden Boy is cleaning house so far this year, and look, we got to give credit where credit is due, man. Oscar De La Hoya, who was heavily criticized for quite some time about his promotional tactics, but he has rolled his sleeves up to his freaking neck.
There it
is.
is.
Getting his job done, man. We got to give him credit.
There it is.
No,
Don would be very proud.
Yeah.
And you know what's amazing? And Don stated that. He said, you know what? Watch this, guys, because Al Heyman and company and what Richard Schaefer did, and I don't want to speak poorly of Richard Schaefer. He's a good man. But he goes, they left him for dead, and don't be surprised if Oscar ends up as the winner when all is said and finished.
Yeah, it's sure turning out that way, isn't it?
It is.
Oh boy! I tell you what, the truth always reveals itself, and that's one of the reasons why I always love this sport of boxing. The truth always reveals itself in the end. You know what? So let's move on. Here we go. Oh boy. I got to ask you this, brother. Is Ryan Garcia an evil genius? Is he a mad tyrant? Is he is there some method behind his madness, or is this just a wicked stroke of luck? Because everyone has seemingly gravitated because of his commentary and outspokenness regarding the somewhat evil agenda on this earth. And everyone has come out now and they're hooked. This fight has become infinitely bigger now on April 20th. It's April 20th, correct?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Now this is like you've got a lot of Republicans now. Boom. They want to see how Ryan Garcia does in the ring now. And this has nothing to do with boxing. This is that, just ongoing battle between good and evil in their minds. So, Rick, was this by design or is this just a stroke of luck?
I'm a boxing guy. I'm not a psychologist, so I can't tell you.
Woo! Aren't you though? Aren't you though?
If it was a stroke of genius, he's a genius. If he's a schizophrenic maniac, maybe he's that. I don't know what he is. All I know is he draws a lot of people on pay-per-view. He draws a lot of subscribers to the zone, and I expect big things that night as far as the buy rate goes. And New York City in a packed, literally a packed Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And
It's already sold out, isn't it?
I'm sorry?
Isn't it already sold out?
I have no idea if it's sold out yet, but if it's not yet, it will be. It will be. I got a lot of confidence in this show. There's a lot of issues with Ryan, whether they're real, they're made up or not, I don't know. But it's, I'm an old school boxing guy, and I'm not into all this crazy stuff. And I don't know, aliens and Martians and I don't know, even all this shit. Oh my God!
Oh,
I just I hope if it's real, I hope Brian's getting his shit together. Yeah, if it's not real, it's a stroke of genius. But I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? I'm just a boxing guy, and I'm not a psychologist, and I don't know about schizophrenia and all that kind of wacky shit. So.
Well,
yeah.
Don't tell yourself short, Rick. Oh.
It's odd, isn't it? Because I feel like a lot of boxing fans, and I've seen this on social media, they're kind of turned off by all this talk that Ryan's doing. But however,
it's a funny thing you said that. Okay, they're turned off by it, but that's a small percent of the population. The 12% of the population is they're excited about it. They think it's pretty cool. Yep. Now they want to watch. So
exactly.
I was just gonna say that he's got every conspiracy theorist online interested in everything he's saying now. So you know
what's amazing? And somewhere Oscar's like on media, he's like, well, all business and the consummate ambassador, and then off camera, he's like, that's my boy. That's my boy.
Woo! They have a love-hate relationship. There's no question about that. Oscar and Ryan, but I think that I think the cream always rises to the top. So we'll see what happens on Saturday night, April 20th, live on the Zone pay-per-view from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, and we'll see. Devin Haney is a very formidable fighter. He's a former undisputed lightweight champ, now a 140-pound WBC junior welterweight. He's junior welterweight champ, which is 140 pounds. I'm being redundant, but it's going to be a great fight. There's no question about it. I don't see it anything but being a great fight.
Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry. My apologies.
I think that people say to me, "Oh, he's going to whitewash him." It's not true. There's ways for Ryan to win. He's got quick twitch muscles, quick twitch speed, and he's got power with the left hook and the straight right hand. And nobody ever said that Devin Haney's got a great chin. So we'll see what happens. Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens. I'm not saying he's got a bad chin, but nobody's walking around saying, "Oh my God, this guy's got an unbelievable chin." Nobody's ever said that. So we'll see. His chin will be tested that night. We'll see how well his chin stands up.
Indeed, Rick.
I tell you what. In the immortal words of our good friend Teddy Atlas, the truth comes to you very quickly in that squared circle, even in the tri-state area. And there it is. Woo! Yes. I tell you what, I'm genuinely excited. This now by hook or by crook, this event just got cranked up to first class. I absolutely love it. The world's going to be dialed in, and we are as well, guys. We're going to monitor this, and we're going to cover this.
Hey, Joe,
every step of the way. Go ahead, G Funky.
I want to ask Rick something here because this is a little funny.
This is your show too, my friend. Go ahead.
But I've heard rumors behind the scenes, and then now I'm seeing it leaked as of this week that a big show is being planned for Golden Boy in Fresno, California, one of your favorite places, Rick. If that's true, would you be making the trip out to the West Coast?
It looks like it's going to be April 27th. It looks like. I'm not sure the exact date, but that's what it looks like. Headline, of course, by the Central Valley's favorite, Jose Ramirez, and hopefully it's going to happen. They're just working on the finishing touches, everybody involved. So hopefully it happens.
The Central Valley Prince. That's going to be one hell of a card.
Will you be making the trip to the West Coast for that one? Fresno, California, Rick.
I'll probably get stoned or flogged. I'm not sure, but you know what the biggest? I'll tell you what. It isn't really a bad town if you don't like food. Okay, if you don't like food, and if you go through the airport, coming and going, you see a John Deere tractor sitting in the middle of the airport. Now, not the parking lot. Now, I said right in the middle of the airport. It's just not my thing. You know what I mean? I'm a suburban guy, not an agricultural type of guy, and I'm just not used to all that.
Indeed, Rick. Central California here is known for the agriculture. So
yeah,
indeed.
It's not my thing, but it's a little stunning. You get off an airplane in Vegas, or you get back on the airplane and leaving, and you see slot machines, and everybody's playing, and the bars and stuff. And in Fresno, you get off the plane and get back on. There's a fucking John Deere tractor, right? We're standing right there looking at you. But it's all shined up, the guy says to me. What's with the John? It's all shiny. Look at it, how nice they keep it.
They turtle wax that thing every week.
Yeah, just to let you know, in the Buffalo airport, we have a BMW or a Mercedes sitting there, a brand new Mercedes or a brand new BMW.
You mean you don't have a big chicken wing?
No, there's no chicken wing. But the John Deere tractor was a little bit of a turnoff for me.
Well, look. If they call Lambert International the Spirit of St. Louis, what the hell do they call Fresno? A Dear John letter. Or no, a John Deere letter. Oh, woo! I love it.
I'll tell you how low key Fresno is. So I went to breakfast with a boxing guy, and while I was in Fresno, and I left a $5 tip with the waitress, and she thanked me 3 times. I felt like, what do people leave here in Fresno? She goes, well, normally $2 to $3 for 2 people.
Wow.
And I left 5, and she thanked me 3 times. So it tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, when you lay down an Abe Lincoln, you're a big spender in Fresno. Woo! High roller central. But look, Rick, that is a fantastic card. Let's hope that it materializes.
Yes, sir.
And let's hope that we see Bam versus El Gallo Estrada. Woo!
Yeah, hopefully I can make it out for that one, because we have our show the day before up here in Northern California. So I'm going to do my best.
Yeah, you've got to do it, man. Look, that's what it means to be a pro. Yes. And there it is. But Rick, so yeah, we love it. And we love the attention Garcia versus Haney is now getting in Brooklyn. When's the last time there's been a significant fight in Brooklyn?
I don't know. It's been a long time. Several years.
Yeah, several years.
Since PBC flubbed out there.
Oh, boy. And here's comes the PBC inquiries. Well, look, Rick, if you can be as candid as possible, as much as you can disclose on this program, what happened between Eddie Hearn and Eddie Reynoso?
I basically that Eddie, he insulted Eddie Reynoso. Eddie Hearn insulted Eddie Reynoso. Eddie Reynoso went back to TBC with his tail between his legs and begged for forgiveness. He got he made even a better deal than when they left. They were offering, because they were so desperate to get him back, because they were embarrassed in front of PBC was embarrassed in front of Amazon that they had screwed the deal up. So it all worked out in the end for everybody. Munguia's fighting him. Golden Boy's involved. Golden Boy brought brought the Zone to the table. So it's on Amazon and the Zone. It's a perfect storm that's going to come out. It'll be a great fight, and it has no choice but to be a great fight.
Indeed, and I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on how good this fight could be. And me personally, I don't think
there's nothing sleeping. There's nothing. Munguia throws punches, a lot of them.
Yeah.
He's got good pop on his punches. He'll get Canelo's respect, and it'll be a really, really good fight.
Yes,
indeed.
And I tell you what,
I'm
once again,
it.
everyone should be. And once again, guys, people are sleeping within the American market, especially the diehards, because they have no idea that Jaime Munguia is indeed a player in Mexico. He's becoming a big celebrity and a fan favorite. And so it's going to attract not only the Canelo fans, but the haters as well. Guys, don't be shocked if this is Canelo's first event that surpasses the 1 million purchase mark since Julio Cesar Mijo Chavez. Right? Don't be shocked, guys. In my opinion, well, look, put it this way. You want to hear some insider information, Rick? From what I've been told, they're investing everything in the Canelo bout. That if this does not make money, they're OOB, sir.
I think it's a lock, though. I think it's a lock to make money. Munguia, people are really sleeping on his drawing power, man. Did you see that nice size crowd? That was a beautiful crowd in Phoenix for his fight with John Ryder. That was fantastic to see.
I
love to see that.
Dare I say a bigger crowd than David Benavidez?
Oh my God, please. That's his hometown. Please.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
So let me tell you something. You imagine how many people, if they would have known the result of the John Ryder fight before the fight, you imagine how many more people would have showed up?
Oh boy.
Yeah. I was very excited to see that big crowd, and it looked great on TV. I love that.
Absolutely. And you know what? Jaime Munguia, boy, he fights in a very fan-friendly style. Dare I say, much more mature under the tutelage of Freddie Roach. Your thoughts, Rick?
Yeah, Freddie's done a great job with him. You know, when we have him a short period of time, Freddie's done a really good job with him. You know, it's a funny thing. It doesn't mean that he's a better trainer than Eric Morales. It's just that as a guy keeps training with really top trainers, he keeps being a sponge. He keeps learning more and more and more. And it's like a building. You start out the 3rd floor, you go up to the 5th, you go up to the 7th, you go up to the 8th, and now they've built that thing, and now Freddie's putting the finishing touches on the kid.
Yep. And I tell you what, I think it's weird actually, because he's only 27 and he's a young 27. And you know what? Everyone has been really critical of Golden Boy's, hesitation or trepidation to actually throw him in with the Wolves.
Well, first of all, 3 things. Okay, that was Zaffer's decisions, not Golden Boys. That's their Mexican partner. First of all, that was Zaffer's decisions. Okay, and one thing you got to remember about Oscar. Oscar through and throughout loves boxing, and he'd rather see a sensational fight. So, and give the people a sensational fight. And his orders to Eric, to Razzo, and you got to make great fights, guys. People are paying to watch these fights. Our business is to entertain the public, okay, and make them be happy, okay, that they saw a great night of world-class professional boxing. And when I started doing business with them, he said, Rick, we don't make rummy fights here. We make real fights, real fighters, real fights, and that's the way it is. So Oscar's a true promoter. He really is.
There it is.
And he cares about people spending their money, and he wants to put on a good show. He does thoroughly get it. There's no question about that. I've got a lot of confidence in Oscar that other people don't have, because I know what he said to me. I know what he says to his people, and it results. They put on good fights. No question about it.
Yes,
You know?
indeed. Yes, indeed. And you know what? The best fighting the best always attracts a crowd. Always
Yep.
attracts
Yeah.
a crowd.
It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be the best fighters. It only has to be a fight that meshes between the two people where they're competitive. Top
Bing.
guys don't have fighting top guys doesn't mean it's going to be a great fight. What it means is you're seeing top fighters. But if you put two fighters in the ring that are where their styles mesh, even if they're both C fighters or both B fighters, and they're not A fighters, as long as they're like Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward were great fights because neither guy had defense. They were B fighters, not A fighters, and
Yep.
they had no defense, and their styles blended where they both walk forward. So there's an example of guys don't have to be top fighters to make great fights.
There it is.
Yep.
There it is. And you know what? You couldn't have said it any better. Like that's exactly
know.
what Don used to profess. You can't say it any better than that. That's perfect. Perfectly
Yep.
summed up, sir. And
Thank
well,
you.
so that's a perfect segue into where the Big Bang always draws a crowd. And I don't mean Zhilei Zhang, right? I don't mean that. I mean, boy, the ripple effect of a sensational, like thunderous knockout that we just saw in Saudi Arabia this past Friday. Oh boy, in front of a big pay-per-view American audience of about 10,000. Oh boy. Oh my gosh. Why would they have this on Friday? Obviously, we know the answer to that. That's Ramadan. But yeah, boy, the ripple effect, though. Everyone is buzzing about Anthony Joshua. Is he really back? A lot of people are posing the question, is he the best heavyweight currently because of his activity, because of his last two sensational knockouts? Or is this just Jerry Cooney, the perception factor, knocking out someone who was heralded as a granite chin previously, and creating that buzz leading into a big fight?
Well, I put up on Twitter that I'm very impressed with the resurgence of Anthony Joshua and Joseph Parker. And I'm even more impressed with the resurgence of Joseph Parker because he got left dead with not dead, but he got beat up, knocked out by Joe Joyce.
Yep.
Joe Joyce gets destroyed by Zhang twice in a row. And then Parker comes back with 4 or 5 straight wins and over some formidable guys too. So I'm impressed with Parker. I'm impressed with Joshua. Joshua's got a new trainer in Ben Davidson who's been training for his comeback here. And he's looked real good. He's installed confidence in him. And he's fighting like a Andy Ruiz Anthony Joshua instead of what we saw that night and post since then. He was very hesitant against Usyk twice. And now looks like he's got it together now. And I'm impressed. I think Ben Davidson, his trainer, has done a great job. And
Yeah.
I think Andy Lee has done a great job with Joseph Parker.
Indeed. Emmanuel Stewart is alive and well. I tell you what, he's a sentimental favorite because Andy's such a great guy. And my prognostication is that he's going to become a great trainer. He already is, but he's
my prosecution, he becomes a lot better trainer than he was fighter, and he was world champ for a day.
I didn't say that, Rick. You did. But then again, that's why we love you on the show. So it's now time, guys. And I've been saving this until the midpoint, right? Here it comes.
Maybe, just maybe, it's time for Rick Glazer's Twitter watch. Bang!
Thanks, Teddy.
You better change that to X.
Yes.
Hey, the only thing I call the only thing I call X is my former wife, and that's it. So here it is, my top 12 heavy. Well, no, I'm sorry. My apologies. I'm reading now from Rick Glazer's Twitter, or I'm sorry, X feed, and this was X'd on March 9th, 8:24 p.m. He says, Rick, my top 12 heavyweight list Number 1, Tyson Fury. Number 2, Alexander Usyk. Number 3, Anthony Joshua. Number 4, Joseph Parker. 5, Zhilei Zhang. Zhilei Zhang. 6, Deontay Wilder. 7, Philip Ergovich. 8, Daniel Dubois. 9, Dillian White. Wow. 10, Jared Anderson. 11, Frank No Ticket Selling Sanchez. And 12, Bahadir Jalilov. And he includes close but no cigar, Ajit Kabayel. Rick, explain yourself, sir. Tyson Fury, number 1, after what we just saw, the demolition of Francis Ngannou. Explain yourself.
There's no boxing is you can't use the triangle theory in boxing because
Pythagorean theorem.
you can't use it because here Joe Joyce destroys Parker. Joe Joyce gets destroyed by Zhang twice, and Joe Parker just beats Zhang. So you can't use the triangle theory. The truth of the matter is that until proven otherwise by Usyk on May 18th, if proven otherwise, he's number 1. If Usyk beats him, Usyk's number 1. It's that simple. And I think Anthony Joshua deserves to be number 3. I don't see anything. People question me about not putting Martin Bacoli in there. Yeah, he doesn't hold a significant win. His biggest fight was a loss. Was Mike Hunter. So I just said to myself, I don't see where he would fit in. W.A.W doesn't have any significant wins either. Don't get me wrong, but the potential is there. I mean, he's a gold medalist. He's a big power punching left-hander. Nobody wants to fight him. The potential's there, so you can see it. Jared Anderson's already beaten a couple decent fighters that looked good before they fought him, and against him, he completely destroyed him. So we'll see. I think it's a relatively good list.
I think it's a great list, sir. And look. And so why do you see, once again, I just want you to say this once again. Why do you see Anthony Joshua having trouble with Usyk and Tyson Fury?
Style-wise, I don't think he's got a high ring IQ. We've seen that multiple times, and I think Usyk's a lot smarter than him. We already proved that, and I think Fury is got a super high ring IQ, and a big, long, fast jab, and those kind of fights is the difference right there.
Indeed.
Wait a minute. How can you say that, Rick? He's a gold medal winner, and he's a unified champion twice. Yeah.
Styles make fights.
Always. Always.
I just had to regurgitate the fanboy narrative on this program.
Fan rhetoric.
Because I love doing it. Oh gosh. But hey, you know what? I will say this. Hold on. Chingao. I'm out in my patio and a beetle decided to come and visit, or a June bug in March. Isn't that nice? Here it is. Let me read one more tweet, whatever.
X.
Here. Oh, I'm sorry. His X marks the spot in the tri-state area. Here comes Rick Glazer, Twitter or X watch. Here comes March 11th at 4:56 a.m. Oh boy. Boxing needs the huge fights that are scheduled for April, May, and June. Not the farce exhibition with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. This would never be happening if Mike Tyson would have been smarter with his money over the years. Excuse me. When Lennox Lewis retired exactly 20 years ago, he never stepped back in the ring. Why? Because he saved his money. Enjoy your Monday, guys. Woo! Rick, not much to add about that, but what are your real thoughts and the potential impact of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson to the perception of boxing in the American market?
Well, people say that these exhibitions and these like freak fights, they bring a new set of eyeballs to boxing. There's no proof that they stay. I mean,
Yep.
it just, you know, boxing doesn't need freak shows. Boxing needs real fights to attract real fans. That's all there is to it. You
Yep.
know, that's all there is to it. You know, last week, 2 weeks ago, they had a photo finish at Atlanta Motor Speedway. NASCAR did. The 3 cars came across the finish line. One car beat one car by an inch, and the other one was 3 inches back. 3 cars side by side. Oh my God, it's so exciting! I got to watch NASCAR. Guy called me up yesterday. He says, "Oh, the guy was boring. The guy won by 7 seconds." Well, it's not like that every week, like it was in Atlanta 2 weeks ago, bro. It ain't like that, you know. And boxing's like that too. Sometimes we get great fights, sometimes get shit. But here's shit that you know is going to be shit, and people are going to lap it right up. It's
See,
bad enough you think fights are going to be good, turn out to be bad. Now we know we got a fucking pile of garbage. It's crazy. It really is.
So here's the big question. Here's the $1 million question. Sorry, I don't have my Dick Clark impression ready. But here's the $1 million pyramid question. Why is this happening then, sir? And is this being made out of necessity in the American market?
It's I don't know if anything is made out of necessity, but it's just something that's going to be. I'm not calling it boxing. I'm going to call it entertainment. It's entertainment for people that don't know any better. That's what it is.
So once again, so what's more important these days since the advent of social media, perception or reality?
It depends. If you're talking about real fight fans, and they're going to watch Ryan Garcia, and they're going to Devin Haney, and they're going to watch Canelo, and they're going to with Munguia, and they're going to watch Bivol and Beterbiev, 3 excellent fights, and the people that don't know any better, they're going to watch that crap.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they don't see it that way. They see this as boxing.
I know.
A representation of the product,
and they
representation of the business and the sport.
Yeah, and they're under the impression that it's going to be a real fight, and we still don't have any confirmation on that. I've heard several.
It's not a real fight. It's not a real fight.
Yeah.
There's no way that any boxing commission in America will sanction a 50-year-old guy in a real fight. Okay?
He's 57. Yeah, that's crazy.
No, he's not. He'll be 58 by the time he steps in the ring.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, in the immortal words of Ness from the Boxing Voice, let me ask you something then. Greg Alvarez, spoke to him today. I asked him, this is going to be an exhibition with 12-ounce gloves, right? He goes, no, I'm not so sure yet. Why would he say that, Rick?
I don't know.
Yeah,
disgusting.
It's out there, man, because here's another thing. Texas had just suspended Keyshawn Davis for testing positive for marijuana, and Mike Tyson is a huge pothead these days. I don't know if he's going to be laying off the trees in training camp for this one, man. I don't know how they're going to get him past a drug test if it is indeed a sanctioned fight, but that's why I don't think it will be, but we'll see.
Well, I will say this. Well, he who has the gold makes the rules. Last time I checked, Keyshawn Davis, boy, is a pocket of nickel.
Right.
Not even silver. Yeah. So there it is. There it is. Different rules, different strokes for different folks. And there it is. Do you remember, Rick? And let's take a trip down memory lane. Do you remember when what's his face from Pro Box? What's his name again? Gary Jonas?
Yep.
Do you remember when he paid Mike Tyson $500,000 to do absolutely nothing to start up Iron Mike Promotions?
Yes, I do.
Yep. So what makes him think that Pro Box is going to fare any better?
It's a different concept. You know? So we'll see.
Okay. Yeah. So I tell you what, let's go for some questions from the chat. How do you like that? We want to thank our dear friend in the chat for hanging with us and supporting Rick Glazer on this day. Our brother W.A.W. Larry Liston says, does Rick have any insight on Virgil Ortiz's next opponent? Since he is next in line at the WBA rankings, could he face Israel Madrimov, who just recently became champion, and a sensational victory against Kurbanov?
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, it's he's going to be fighting coming up for very shortly, and he'll be fighting the right kind of guy that's right in front of him. He doesn't have to think too hard, and then he'll fight the WBA champ that you just mentioned, Madrimov. See what happens. That's all you can do.
And,
it's going to be a great fight.
And there it is. So many different combinations that would appease the boxing palate. W.A.W. also says, Big Rick, is there any future plans for Jesus Perez, who recently upset Jojo Papaya Diaz? Could he be the Kid Austin's next opponent?
No, he's fighting. No, he's fighting Arnold Barbosa.
Yeah. And Jesus isn't he he's not a Golden Boy fighter, is he? He's signed with gosh, I don't know why the guy's name slipping my mind right now. Jeez. But is he signed to Golden Boy?
He's a Paco Dane.
Paco, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how I forgot that. Thank you, Rick.
Paco's a very nice guy, and he's an ally of Golden Boy. So that's not a big deal.
Great guy.
Yes, he is.
Tell you what, and a special shout out to my brother EJ. Hey there, Joseph G. Funky, and hello to you, Mr. Glazer. And guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to my brother EJ. God bless you, my friend, and thank you for being here. Also, special shout out to my brother Demetrio, who tuned in last week to me and G Funky, spreading the idle gossip. Thank you very much, sir, for being here. God bless you, my friend. And also my brother Lance Meyer, bugs in the windshield. Yes, sir. And EJ says, Joseph, the wife and I might be going to Texas in July for the Tyson fight because Katie wants to see Paul get his head knocked off. Well, I tell you what, Coach Gogi and I will indeed be in the building.
Nice.
That's a guarantee. Yes, sir. That's going to be at the AT&T Stadium, and they're projecting a sold-out crowd of nearly 80,000 participants.
Man, Jerry's World, crazy.
Oh, in the Jerry Dome, the Death Star. Yes, sir. And once again, Rick, not so excited about it, but Rick, this is on Netflix, and it's for regular subscriber Netflix, not a pay-per-view.
No, listen, that part I don't have a problem with, but a 58-year-old guy, I mean, whether it's an exhibition or not, the guy shouldn't be in a boxing ring. Come on, please.
Yep. Indeed. But once again, necessity is the mother of invention. I'll leave you guys with that. Guys, big shout out to my brother Bruce Cast, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Guys, if you haven't already, please go support my brother Bruce. Thank you, sir, for being here. Here it is, W.A.W, a prognostication on his part. I think Canelo Munguia will do 600,000 to 1 million pay-per-view buys. Boy, that's a short enough window, isn't it?
Over 400,000 spread? Jesus Christ.
Oh, jeez. What's your percentage deviation, sir? Oh, jeez. Oh, and a shout out to my brother Hands of Stone.
Yes, sir.
Best boxing show on primetime. Let's go. Thank you, sir. God bless you, man. And thank you for supporting Rick Glazer on this evening. W.A.W also makes an observation. Roach is great at cutting rough diamonds around the edges. Can't argue with that, man. Can't argue with that. He's got the experience, and he's definitely had a oh my gosh, I do have to bring this up. And I didn't want to, but I'm going to because I just thought of Freddie Roach again. Thanks to W.A.W. God, Rick, what are your thoughts on Manny Pacquiao versus Conor Benn? Say it ain't so. Oh my word.
It's just another bullshit thing. Hey.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Hey, all I can say is, oh boy, Manny, you better be juicing to the nines. You better be juicing because you know Connor Ben's going to be. Holy shnikes. Boy, that guy looks very ordinary when he's not eating the special eggs.
Oh, man. And Rick, I want to ask you something too. I seen you were the first one to report this. Terrence Crawford skipping over 154, going to 160 to possibly fight
Bo-Mac.
Chris
Who's he going to
Eubank.
train? Who's he going to train?
But
He's gonna train Crawford. How's that for a guarantee in life?
Of course.
But
So
Rick, I
why-
want you to explain to some of the fans. Excuse me, Joe. I want you to explain to some of the fans why Crawford would take a fight like this right now, because a lot of people are calling him a duck, that he's
Canelo.
ducking Duran Boots
Canelo.
Ennis and anybody
Canelo.
else at 154. So
Canelo.
explain to these fans
Canelo.
why Crawford would do something like this.
Canelo.
because he's not going back to 47. He's outgrown the weight. He's accomplished all he wants to accomplish. Okay, and he's going up. That there's no money in a Boots Ennis fight, and nobody knows Boots. He can't make any money with Boots. That's all there is to it. And he can make money with Conor Ben. Conor Ben's a huge draw in the UK. It'd be on pay-per-view over there.
Chris Eubank.
Yeah, he's a big draw. No question about that. That's
So
proven fact.
do you think this fight happens in Saudi or the UK?
Saudi.
Okay.
Saudi or the United States, but it won't happen in the UK because Crawford's got to pay too much taxes if he fights over there.
Yeah, and Bo-Mac isn't able to pack heat.
I don't know. That I don't know. That I don't know. But the reason why he's going to 60 is because it'll show validity. He can fight at 68.
Canelo.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you fine, loudly and clearly, sir.
Okay. It's up. He can go to 68 to fight Canelo, or he can go back down to 54 to fight Tim Tszyu. So that's why he's fighting at 60. That's all there is to it.
And here's another question from the chat. Iceman, you read my mind because I had fans asking me this as well when I said the exact same thing Rick just said. Well, why not fight Janibek? He's a unified middleweight champion. It's basically the same thing with Boots. There's no money in that fight.
No peso, senor.
No money, guys. Guys, let me tell you something. I was at Janibek's fight against Butler, right? Now, again, this is no disrespect to Janibek. He's a hell of a fighter. But it was here in Northern California, in Stockton, California, to be exact. And once the local guys like Gabe Flores and Ruben Villa had fought, yeah, nobody really stuck around to see Janibek, man, unfortunately. So, yeah, there's no money for Crawford in the Janibek fight. Zero.
So you could say he's the Kazakh version of Guillermo Rigondeaux. Woo! And not even a chuckle from the stoic Rick Glazer.
Oh, it's a shame because Janibek is an exciting fighter, man. But
so was Guillermo Rigondeaux.
Yeah.
Good. Yep. Well, if the style matchup was favorable, just like Rick said. But look, what are you going to do when a guy like Ken Hirschman tells Bob Arum, dude, why are you selling us this? Why are you selling this to us? We don't want Guillermo Rigondeaux back on our network. Next day, top rank cutter.
Gone. He was gone.
Yeah.
Yep. Gone like the wind. Uh-oh.
Oh, I think Rick has some indigestion, guys.
Hello?
Can you hear us, Rick?
Rick, are you there, sir?
Yeah, I'm here.
Very good. Very good. Okay, so let's move on to another question, sir. So let's do we talked about Tyson versus Paul. We got your feelings on that. Bo-Mac is going to be training Crawford for Eubank Jr. potentially, and no Boots Ennis. Yeah. Look, in my opinion, this makes perfect sense, guys. Because look, the biggest money fight for Terrence Crawford is still Canelo Alvarez. And if he whoops the shit out of Eubank Jr., which is no easy task, he's a very skilled fighter and a prolific counterpuncher as well. But if he does that at 160, yeah, that sets the table perfectly for Canelo versus Terrence Crawford. Am I seeing this incorrectly, Rick?
That's the way I look at it.
Yep.
Or you can go, if Canelo doesn't fight, he can go back down to 54 and fight, what's his name?
Tim
Tim
Tszyu.
Tszyu. And there's money in the Tim Tszyu fight. There's
wait
no
a
money
minute.
in Boots Ennis, and there's no money in Janabek.
Wait a minute. There's no money in Keith Thurman either?
No.
That was rhetorical, brother. My apologies. But I will say this. Rick, is there any topic that we haven't touched on that you'd like to bring up? Because we only have you on the air for another 8.5 minutes, 8 minutes, something like that.
My Twitter handle is at Real Rick Glazer 1. It's a verified account. And there's a lot of fake Rick Glazer accounts out there, but it's got 11,300 followers. So that's the only one with that many followers. Let's put it that way to you.
Hey, Rick, was there any truth to what's been said about Canelo's previous PBC contract? Because this one is a new one, right? With Jaime Munguia?
It's only one fight deal. There's no new contract. It's one fight, and it's up May 4th when he leaves the ring that night. The contract's over.
Yeah. So people were saying that the original 3-fight deal that he signed last summer was supposed to be the Charlo brothers and then
and
Earl Spence. That was true then, right? Okay.
Yep.
And you know what? I told you that last year.
Yeah. Yep. You did. And not that I didn't believe you, but you know how fans could be, right? Because I had some fans getting upset with me, the fact that PBC wanted to try to make a better fight for Canelo in the second fight besides Jamal Charlo, which we all know will sell nothing, right? And they're saying, well, they need to uphold the contract. That's what they put in there. And I'm like, well, then would you want to see him fight Spence? Because that's what I was hearing. I mean, especially after he got his ass whooped by Crawford. You want to see that? I don't know about that, you know?
Well, I will say this. From what I've been told, everything is going into this Canelo fight. And if they do not make money, close the doors, close up shop, out of business for good. That's what I've been told. That they're putting everything, lock, stock, and barrel, into this Canelo fight. Have you heard the same thing, Rick?
100%.
There it is, guys.
And is that why
part of the reason is they know they're going to lose money on March 30th? That's no money maker. That's for sure.
So why haven't there been any other events announced? Rick?
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Because
including
everything
Tank Davis.
Because everything is invested in Canelo. All indicators lead to that. And so what happens then? What happens to Tank Davis? What happens to all of their other non-ticket sellers? Oh, did I say that on the air? My apologies. What happens to all of their other non-ticket sellers?
And there's been no announcement of anything with Tank, who's one of their bigger stars, and we've seen rumors of Frank Martin, but nothing official yet. Not looking good.
Oh boy. Well, I will say this. Here it goes. I've got another question for you, Rick, before you leave. Anthony Manzano. Our brother Tony. God bless you, brother. Greetings from Texas. I know you're in Florida. Hope everything's well out there. He says, what happened to Deontay Wilder, Rick? Did he overlook Joseph Parker?
I don't know if he overlooked him or not. He looked like he never had gloves on before at times.
Was that a product of inactivity or a ayahuasca?
I don't know. He looked terrible. He looked like an elephant on a skateboard.
No, shit! Don't talk about my ex-wife that way.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding, man. My ex-wife's fine as wine. Speaking of which, big shout out to my Sonny, who's performing right now and possibly getting off stage at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. Knock 'em dead, Sonny. So Rick, we're at the end of the line. Any parting shots? Anything? Any prognostications? Any bold predictions on this show?
Yeah, the other day somebody asked me if I had a gun, who would I shoot first in boxing? I said I'd line up Lou DiBella and I'd
Oh,
line up Dan Rafael. I'd
oh
shoot
boy.
Lou because he's skinny and the one bullet would penetrate him. I don't know if one bullet could penetrate Dan Rafael, so
Oh
I get rid
boy.
of Lou first.
Oh shit. Dude, that is harsh, but you know what? Yeah, you mess with the bull, you get the horns. Look, Dan Raphael, it's no look, everyone knows his reputation precedes him, as well as his gut, right?
Mhm.
Look, this is a guy who's been an asshole his entire career since he's been on USA Today as well as ESPN. And now that he doesn't have the support of those two major periodicals, yeah, he's clamoring for fans. But yeah, he doesn't get the same respect now, does he? So is this
No
comeuppance for the fat man, or do you actually have sympathy for him at this time?
sympathy. No.
Dude, he'd be better off asking for a free
The only
buffet at Gold
sympathy, the
Corral.
only sympathy I have for him is if a symphony played at his funeral.
Oh boy. Oh shit.
Oh, that's a little harsh there, Rick.
You know what, Rick? You're an asshole. You know what? I resemble that remark. You know what? I eat a lot of regression as well as a lot of pizzas, and
Guys, guys, I'll see you next Monday. Have a good night.
God
Bye-bye
bless
now.
you, Rick.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
having me.
my friend.
Thank you.
All right, Rick.
Oh, I tell you what, let's recap. G Funky. Things that you learned from Rick Glazer being on the air tonight.
Well, not much. I mean, we've heard a lot of the things that Rick has been speaking about as of late. So, but no, it's always good to talk with Rick. It's been a while since I spoke with him. So, yeah, this was a fun show.
Absolutely, man. It's always a pleasure to get reacquainted with Big Rick Glazer. Question for you, G Funky. Iceman, welcome to the show, sir, and thank you for hanging with us. When Canelo retires, is boxing done?
Oh man, I was just talking with somebody about that recently who was saying that Canelo's, not the guy anymore, blah blah blah. But
you know what? Jethro told me something similar today. Inside joke, guys. Inside joke. My apologies, guys.
But let's just say if he was to retire, like right after the Munguia fight, yeah, boxing would be in trouble. Not gonna lie.
Well, look, guys, don't be shocked if Jake Paul, puts a licking on the geriatric Mike Tyson. Don't be shocked if he becomes the new face of boxing. How do you like that, Tank Davis fans? How do you like that, Devin Haney fans? Are you going to blame it on white privilege? Oh, shit. Did I say that on the air? G Funky, look. Here it is, man. Whether you like it or not, you got to respect it. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson is going to prove to be the biggest, most impactful event of the boxing calendar year 2024, and very well may be, depending on the outcome, depending on how it plays out, very well could be the most impactful fight since Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao.
Oh, man. Well, I'll say this. I know I was talking to you earlier on the phone about this, but a lot of my family members who are, the casual to boxing, were texting me about how, hey, man, we should get together and watch that fight July 20th. And with all the fights that we had announced, that's the one that they call me for and say, hey, let's watch that one, So that tells you about not only the drawing power of Jake Paul, but Mike Tyson still to this day. Back in his peak was what, the early 90s to the mid 90s, late 80s, I'd say, to the mid 90s. And yeah, he still is a force to be reckoned with in boxing. So it could very well be. I mean, how would they? I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess they would have to count like what new subscribers to Netflix. I mean, I've had Netflix for years, so I won't have to worry about that. But yeah, I'm sure that there'll be a lot of people who might just be, getting a subscription just for that show. Who knows, man? But it could be very big.
Oh my gosh. It already is big. G-Funky. It already is big, guys. Look, and it's you may not like it. You better learn to love it. What Rick didn't want to say on the air, that this is being done out of necessity. Right? This is being done out of necessity, guys. Because there aren't enough boxing diehards galvanized for the sport of boxing. Unfortunately, there's this weird Real Housewives mentality that they have to align themselves with specific platforms and not support the other. Guys, this is boxing. That's like people refusing to watch the Super Bowl if their team isn't represented in the Super Bowl from the AFC. That's nonsense, guys. That's insanity. Either you love boxing or you don't. That's it.
Yep.
So I tell you what, you may not like it, but get used to it, guys, because these things are made out of necessity because, well, they're the only events that really move the needle and make money for these networks and promoters. That's it. That's it, guys. And that's going to be our lesson for the day. Well, no, not quite. Here's a history lesson, guys, because someone was saying that Mikey Garcia was a fraud, and he went out of his way to duck Lomachenko, Manny Pacquiao. And look, I have to set the record straight, guys, because in the immortal words of Jesse Ventura, I was there. It wasn't a conspiracy, McMahon. Look, guys, yeah, I was there, and I spoke with everyone. This is when I was on the beat, and I was a beat writer. Yeah, Mikey Garcia, he was offered the Yuri Orkis Gamboa fight, and Ken Hirschman was desperate to make that because they love Yuri Orkis Gamboa when he was in his prime and undefeated. He was a badass, and he was unlike any other Cuban of recent memory, right? He actually was assertive and knocked guys out, right? Yep. He actually was fun to watch. And so when Juanma lost to Orlando Salido, busting up the big, highly anticipated showdown between Juanma Lopez and Yuri Ortiz Gamboa, well, then Ken Hirschman logically turned to Bob Arum and said, can we get the next best thing? Mikey Garcia versus Yuri Ortiz Gamboa. And Bob Arum said, that's a great idea. Why didn't I think of that? And so they turned to Mikey Garcia. He was pissed off because HBO loved Yuri Ortiz Gamboa and offered him a side money. Mikey Garcia took exception to that and was a big entitled bitch the entire time. And so Bob Arum said, I can't believe you're embarrassing me like this in front of Ken Hirschman of HBO. Shame on you. You know what, brother? We had big plans for you, but now I'm flushing it down the toilet, putting your ass on ice for good.
Yep.
And they gave the fight to Terrence Crawford.
Yeah,
and the rest is history.
Yeah, and he was off for what, 2 years, 2.5 years, something like
Almost
that.
3.
Mikey Garcia. Yeah, that's
Almost
insane,
3.
man.
Yep. And he did this to himself. And why? Because he didn't understand his realistic market value.
Yep.
Guys,
super chat, Joe.
Oh, thank you, sir. And our brother, Sly Tendencies, thank you for joining us, sir. Hold on. Let's put this up. Thank you, sir. Hey, Joe, where you going with that gun in your hand? You know what? I don't have my guitar here by me. or else
Hendrix.
I play some cool Hendrix. Thank you for the Hendrix reference. And Sly, you're psyched for Suarez, my friend. Thank you for joining us, my brother.
Jimmy is
And-
my favorite guitarist, man. I love Jimi Hendrix. So right on, Sly. I appreciate it.
Well, you know what? Is that why you bought a Fender Strat?
That's why I have always been a Strat guy, because of Jimi Hendrix. Indeed. I haven't bought anything other except for my acoustic that is not a Strat. So yeah, big
Well,
Strat fan, big Hendrix fan.
I tell you what, so I'm going to pull out my crystal ball really quick before we leave. I'm going to pull out my crystal ball and say, I think G Funky and Joseph are going to be writing some great songs in 2024. Woo! And I tell you what, once again, big shout out to my Sonny. Love you, buddy. And you know what? I'm sure you just brought the house down in front of a huge crowd at South by Southwest. So proud of you, buddy. Thank you. And for following your dream and pursuing your music. And that's about it. Guys, hold on. Slight Tendency says this.
There's a red house.
There's a red house over yonder. Yep. Woo! Tell you
Great
what,
stuff.
man. Jimmy was the man, a pioneer, just gone too quickly. God bless you, Jimmy.
Gone way too soon, man.
Yep.
We only got to experience Hendrix for what, 4 years, I believe. 1966 was when they debuted.
And you know what? And even James Brown said, you know what? That brother was the super dude. We used to call him the super dude because he could do anything on the guitar.
Yeah, man, he was crazy. The invention that he had, and not only that, but like his influence on other musicians, man. Some guys that don't even play guitar are influenced by Hendrix. That's amazing. That's amazing to me, man.
Well, look. For good measure, leave us. What is your favorite Jimi Hendrix song of all time? And I'll disclose mine.
Oh, God, that's so tough because I'm telling you, I shuffle at least 5 different songs all the time. It's like, okay, this one's my favorite. No, this one is my favorite. You know, I guess it all kind of depends on what mood I'm in. But my favorite is a song called "Who Knows" off of the Band of Gypsies live album.
Oh my gosh,
New
that
Year's
is
Eve,
gorgeous!
1969.
Yes.
I love that song and
Holy
that whole concert.
shnikes!
And
Yes,
in my opinion, that is the best recorded live stuff from Hendrix, with Buddy Miles on drums. Yeah, and Billy Cobb.
Wow,
on bass. Beautiful
Dude,
3-piece set.
Dude, one of the best rhythm sections, right? For holding down the forts. My favorite song personally is "Castles Made of Sand."
Ah, yes. Fall in the sea eventually.
Yes.
Great stuff, man.
Yes. Dude, he was a legend and a pioneer. And you know what? We need some Jimi Hendrix today. We need some. Oh, hold on. Sly says this. Spanish Castle Magic or Voodoo Child. You know what? You hold on. Look, this is your white privilege speaking, Sly. It's not Voodoo Child. It's Voodoo Child. And there it is. There it is. Dude, you don't speak Ganglish proficiently, I'm assuming. No, I'm kidding. That's like, guys. Look, guys, it is always a pleasure to share the air with all of you guys. And it's always a pleasure to share the air with Big Rick and my brother G Funky. G Funky, please leave us with some parting shots before I bid everyone adieu.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you all for showing up here and our little reunion of some sorts with Rick on Monday nights. We're going to try to get back into the swing of things. But thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button for Joe. All right. Hit that like button. That helps the show, helps it circulate around. And it's the best way to help the channel. So do that. Do that one time for Joe, guys.
Guys, we love you and we do this for you. We don't do this. We're not on the nuts of a specific promoter. We do this for you guys. Says Joe, Chief Funky, I have some great news in my personal life. I just found out I'm going to be an uncle again to a baby girl. My brother is going to be a father with his fiance.
Congratulations, man. That's great.
We love you, Big Tony. Thank you for being here, brother, and thank you for always being a part of the program.
These guys
We
are
love
naming
it.
off songs in the chat. Look at this, man. The Wind Cries Mary. Holy shit.
Oh my gosh. Forgive
song.
me. I had forgotten about that. And the wind cries Mary. Brown, brown, brown. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
That is legendary. Like,
yes.
dude, how do you pull that out of thin air and make it exist?
That is, yeah, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about with Hendrix, man. He was just
Special.
amazing guitarist.
Special.
Man.
Just a different being, right? He was on a different level than everybody. He was levitating above everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So there it is, guys. And speaking of levitating above everybody, I want to thank Rick Glazer for being here. So God bless all of you guys. And once again, support your beloved boxing guys. Support your beloved boxing. Regardless of whether you think that Ryan Garcia is a head case or a genius, regardless of that, support your beloved boxing guys. Love it, and it will love you back. That's a guarantee. So, guys, on behalf of my brother G Funky, on behalf of Rick Glazer, I'm Joseph Herron. Thank you for tuning in. We love you. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.
Vashon Holdings proudly presents War Week Radio Chats with ring announcer Joseph Herron.